open our Finance Committee. Before we get started, I would like the press to know that we will be asking to go into an executive session in regard to FMCC. Specifically, the executive session will be in regard to collective negotiations pursuant to Article 14 of the Civil Service Law and the proposed acquisition, sale, or lease of real property, or the proposed acquisition of securities, or sale or exchange of securities held by such public body, but only when publicity would substantially affect the value thereof. Those are the two items that we'll be discussing in regard to FMCC at that time. And that'll be under other number 9.
And we will be taking no action this evening.
If we did, it would have to be after we come out of executive session.
There's no resolution pending on either.
Yeah, I don't have any resolution. I really don't know. Totally honest with you, I don't know what it's all about yet.
He doesn't know why I'm here.
So other than I know that it's.
Terry asked me to come down and update you on some things.
Right.
Pardon me?
Terry asked me to come down and update you on some things.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so is there any discussion from anyone else that we, hearing none, we'll look at first item on our agenda is a resolution authorizing county treasurer to disperse mortgage tax money. Needs a sponsor and a second. Robert, Joe, discussion. I think we all want money, right? Everybody good with this one? Moving forward. Next item is a resolution authorizing the county executive to sign renewal agreement, transportation of Fulton County veterans, youth ATI, and veteran services. This needs a sponsor and a second.
Sponsor.
Duke, Barb, our sponsors and second. Discussion. In my discussion with the county exec, apparently we have negotiated and reached a new deal for this, which,
Pretty much the same as last
yeah. So, any other discussion? Hearing none, we will move this forward. Everybody? Full board? All right, resolution authorizing the county executive to sign service agreement with Frontier Communications, Public Safety Building, Data Processing, sponsor and second, Joe and Bob. Discussion. Barb?
Is this about the same, or is there an increase? No, no problem. They're good, I'm fine.
Do you know?
My understanding of this resolution is that the original way that we were going to get connected up at the public safety building fell through with Frontier. So this is a new revised arrangement, which is okay within the budget for this year, but possibly moving forward would be more money. But it is the recommendation of data processing to move forward with this because it does not appear that there's any other viable alternatives. But if you want more information, I can get in touch with them and see if somebody can be here at full board to explain it further.
Our bride was not privy to it, was the finance.
That's okay. Dan's happy? Dan's okay with it?
That's what he says.
All right.
Right now,
But I can ask him to be here to explain further.
Okay,
Terry?
I believe this is for the new addition,
right,
for service for mail.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Move it.
Move it.
Okay, that flies forward. Resolution establishing intern positions and amending the 2016 operating budget, county executive, and mental health. Sponsor and a second. Joe? I'll second.
I understand, okay.
Go ahead.
I
You're
understand
on.
it's coming out of the administrator's budget.
Yeah, actually,
It's at our, okay.
What budget? The other compensation. Other compensation.
Other compensation, yes.
now, I had a conversation with the county executive today, and it's going to be cost neutral because it's coming out of his budget. He actually asked me if I would be willing to support an amendment for 2 positions in the county executives. Did he talk to you about this?
No.
2 positions. One was
One was going to be volunteer position.
One is volunteer, at no cost, but is that the one in mental health?
Yes.
And then there's 2 he wanted that would be paid, I think, unless I got,
No, I think it's a total of 2.
Yeah.
is it a total of 2?
I believe.
So this resolution, you think is, all right, we could always,
One for mental health is
no
free.
cost, all right.
And then the one in the executive's office is coming up.
All right, so we have a sponsor in a second, we can leave this alone. If I'm wrong and it was 2, we can bring it up.
Yeah,
My
that's fine.
understanding it was for 2 interns coming out of his.
One coming out of his and the other one was free. That was just time they wanted to put in to get their hours for the internship. All right, I probably screwed that up.
There's already a sponsor too.
It's not going to cost us
No,
anything because of the.
What's that?
You had Isabel and yourself.
Sorry, I call it
Yeah.
administrative parties.
We're good?
Yep.
County executives.
Are we okay with moving this forward?
Full board.
All right, let's take a little head count then. I'm good. Or Bob?
Is the discussion closed? I just wanted to...
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I thought we were done.
No, the only reason why, while it is cost neutral, is trying to look at some numbers. We're at over $1 million county cost from employees from when we started January 1 to right now. And that doesn't even include benefits or any other costs. So I am a huge champion for any job, but I can't even get a response to an email from the county executive. So that's why I'm voting no.
I'm going to support it because we're talking about other compensation of $2,442.49. And this is for our youth that are
Well,
looking
there's a
for...
$12,000 bank that he can pull from, but if someone's in a position, usually they're going to need another spot.
But I mean, this is an internship that's going to last maybe for the summer. One of them's going to cost us nothing. The other one, it's a total of $2,442.49 that, to me, is money well spent if we can provide time for some of our youth to spend with us, to learn and advance their careers. I can't vote against that.
We should hire more.
I believe this is, didn't we set up a other compensation for bonuses or peer appreciation in the executive budget? Is this the line item that's
Yes.
coming out?
Yes.
I think this suits a better purpose.
Okay, so are we done with discussion? Bob? Good, bad, move it, don't move it?
I guess we'll go ahead and move it. I mean, the only question is we're paying one and we're not paying the other, and it doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem equitable.
I believe
That's
that's,
college, my friends.
I believe,
And they're both paying for it.
is what?
You hire an intern, you hire an intern.
Oh, Cheryl said she thought that was coming from a grant,
The mental health one.
the mental health one.
French for sleep.
Move it, Bob?
Yes.
Joe?
I had the experience when you hire an intern, Usually doesn't cost you anything. I would move forward.
Barb, are you still no?
Well, if it's by a grant, then that would be different.
Well, we think that that one that was not costing us is by a grant. This one is not. This is coming from other compensations. The one position is definitely coming from the line item of other compensation, just so we're clear. Is that a yes, no, maybe?
Does he, our approval, it's a budget transfer less than $5,000?
Well, maybe because it's the positions. I'm good with it. Duke and Terry,
Well, I sponsored the resolution.
you sponsored it, so Mark's
Why is
good.
it, Chuck?
If a budget transfer, like Martin had said, you can, the executive could do a transfer under $5,000 if it was between the .4s, but because it's coming from a .1, it has to be adopted by you as the legislature.
So we have,
It's good to be right, isn't it?
we're moving that forward. All right. Resolution adopting introductory local law G, local law 3 of 2016, a local law establishing a payment in lieu of taxes pilot schedule for the taxation of solar energy facilities. Terry, you wanted to sponsor, you said?
Yes.
Second? I'll second. Terry, I want you to get into this a little bit and explain.
Actually, I think that's why Bill's here, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you would like to, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
We met with Chairman Bediak, the county executive, attorneys, our staff, really take a hard look at 487, the real property tax law, which is the exemption for solar. As we went into this, we wanted to strike a compromise that accomplished a few things here. One, that would not impact any projects underway, such as the construction in the town of Amsterdam, which will benefit the city. Number two, that we do not penalize homeowners or small businesses that install solar panels for their own use. Third condition that we had here was that we wanted to be very fair about the application of taxes to profit-making businesses. And the fourth thing we looked at was to, what was the impact upon the municipal budget, because there's quite a bit of development pressure, and those could considerably enhance the tax base for the county. So we took a look at that. Rather than to opt out of 487, what we've done is we're recommending that the legislature adopt a policy that's called consistent with 485B of the tax law, which is the same abatement schedule that everybody else gets. So it keeps at parity between businesses. The other thing we were able to do by not opting out, if we were to opt out, we would have to, I got some guidance from the council's office at Tax and Finance, we would be required to increase the valuation on residential properties. So if somebody invested in a bunch of solar panels for their house, or a small business did for its own use, if we opted out, we would be required to increase that assessment. By simply going with this pilot system, it allows us to apply kind of a dual approach here. This is under guidance from the council's office, where we can apply 485B to all what we call utility scale, all the large commercial solar projects that are really there to simply sell electricity to the grid. At the same time, residential owners would not see any increase in their assessments. So we felt that we worked at this for quite a while, thought about it, went back, refined it a little bit. We felt that this was, an appropriate compromise and a policy that was fair and it simply made sense. So, yes,
Go ahead, Terry.
I think, Bill, wasn't the agricultural side too exempt from this?
yes, Terry.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's covered there.
Right.
Yeah, so if a farm is, producing electricity for its own consumption, that would not, the solar facilities would not add value, taxable value to that business.
Robert?
Bill, say someone like Charlie with that mass roof structure there, opted to put solar panels on top there and use that energy for lighting their facility or heating their facility. Would they be exempt?
They would, Bob. They would, yeah. Because
long
it's
as used in and out.
on-site use. You're not selling it back to the grid.
So if it's not for profit,
Right, right. It's just for on-site use.
Now, I have go ahead, Martin.
You said not for profit, meaning it was a net negative, net zero there. Let's say we have a not-for-profit in the area who, they don't pay property taxes already.
Yep.
If they go ahead and install a solar farm, would they be subject to a tax?
That's a good question. Martin, are you talking about a scenario in which that not-for-profit would sell electricity back to the grid?
Let's say hypothetically, I'm going to use Tom. Let's say the fairgrounds, since they own a big parcel, and were to install a grid and sell it back to National Grid or whoever. They don't pay property taxes because they're a non-for-profit. Would they be subject to?
And I can't speak to this.
Good
Could
question.
you look it up?
We can certainly look it up, yes, yes. However, I can state this without, my sense is that they would not be subject to that. There are not-for-profits that run profit-making operations and so forth that are not subject to property tax and so forth. So I'm assuming there's a lot of case law out there that really meet the circumstance act.
So like
I'll look that up.
like I know of a municipality, the town of Pittstown.
Yes, that's our county.
They have the solar grids in their, right on their land there, and they run their whole building with it. But there's a little left over.
Yep.
There's a little left over. They don't need quite as much as they're producing, so it's actually a income generator for, because they do sell it back to the grid.
Yeah.
What if municipalities decided to jump on and do something like that,
Well, that's been going on for quite a while with renewable energy. The city of Auburn, probably 30 or 35 years ago, constructed its own hydroelectric dam. And that's always been a moneymaker for them. They've sold it back to the grid with a renewable source. So it's obviously not subject to taxation, and it is a good revenue generator.
Terry?
I just want to point out that this is only for the first 15 years, and then after that, then they go to full taxation.
Yes, yes. The way, and just give you a little bit of the detail of the legislation here. What we did was we followed the schedule of 485B from years 1 through years 10. And then it explicitly stated years 11 through years 15, you would be taxed at full value. And the reason is, once you stay within 487, that's a 15-year exemption. So we just wanted to be very clear about that, and unambiguous in the language itself.
I think FMCC should.
Well, if a not, I would certainly defer to our attorney, but if a not-for-profit organization created a solar farm and sold energy back to the grid, that's not part of our mission. Energy generation is not part of our mission, so it becomes an unrelated business, which becomes taxable.
We don't have anything on campus, do we?
I don't have a solar panel.
That's where I was.
Only for instruction.
That's where I was going. You
Yeah, we
should.
left 100 acres just for instruction.
Yeah.
You know,
I thought it was neat when I saw it in Pittstown.
Honestly, I don't know if we're talking about.
No, go ahead.
I've had probably 3 companies and give me proposals, and honestly, the price of electricity, it's right on the cusp of you can win and you can lose, and I don't want to be paying more for electricity than I do on the grid, so it's just not there yet for me to make that investment.
I see. Okay, anything, oh, Joe, Bob?
I just look at technology, and I do a little reading in that area, and I see 15 years from now, the technology is going to be so different. Most of the panels that are up aren't going to be useful anyway. So, I mean,
Could be.
We're talking about something that will never happen.
Robert?
I guess if we could define, when we talked about in process, are we talking about if they're going before the planning board for approval, is that in process, or is there other criteria?
Well,
that-
yeah, sorry, Mark, go ahead.
No, that's it.
Yeah. What we defined it here is the project is in process once the building permit or a site plan that's been issued or a site plan has been reviewed. And the law goes into effect upon filing with the Secretary of State. So we wanted to have a clear defined point. We didn't want to have something where we would define something in progress if somebody simply made an application that was very, very preliminary to a planning board for something that may not happen for 2 or 3 years. So what we wanted to do is define that as the issuance of a building permit or site plan approval.
Okay, thank you. I would have no problem moving it forward personally. I would just like to have the county attorney do a little bit more on some of the things that we heard about tonight, and then if we feel comfortable voting on it at the meeting, let's vote on it. If we don't, we can always table it. Is everybody good with that?
Yep.
Board.
Good?
Yep.
Okay. All right, thank you. Resolution approving abstract of audited claims needs a sponsor in a second. Mark, Barb, either way. Move it? All right. Resolution appointing member to audit committee, county legislature. Is this a 2-month deal?
It is June and July.
All right. Needs a sponsor in a second.
I'll sponsor.
One second.
Volunteers?
So I need to do duck, duck, goose.
Duck, duck, goose. Well, Roy's not here, and who else is here? Ryan's not
It caused a problem last time.
here. That did, it
That
did.
did cause a problem.
Did.
Who's
You know
on
what?
this month? Martin and Barb?
You know what, I really do owe a month, but my birthday's in June, so that's
What's
looking
that
at
got to do
July.
with it? Happy birthday.
Well, I think that's a good reason not to do it.
Thank you, Duke, that's why you're my favorite.
My birthday
Yes.
is June 14th.
Can I just propose if the three of us get together, and we all don't have to be there, but if us three work together, we'll have to there for the rest of the year.
So,
Is that okay with everybody? Martin just volunteered.
Martin,
He just volunteered. We communicate like I couldn't make this last week, so Martin.
so we do an amendment to say that Martin Kelly is appointed for June to December?
Yeah, that's good by me. Could we do just a backup to have a fourth, just in case?
With
Just
the
have it.
back one?
I would, yeah.
Yes, and Bob is a backup. That way the 4 of us, is that all right?
And any legislator.
Megan, could you confirm with Deb?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with you putting a resolution up saying any legislator. Why we gotta mess with
Well,
2?
let's confirm right now. So
Okay.
my understanding is you want to change the first resolve clause to say, resolve legislator Martin Kelly is hereby appointed to serve on the audit committee for
Through December 31st.
through December 2016.
Yep.
And then further resolve legislator Robert Pertel is appointed as an alternate to the audit committee through December 2016.
Sounds good. I'll sponsor that.
Yeah, I'll say, do we have to do that as an amendment, or can we? Yeah, we better do it. Can we just do it, can we just send it through like this now, or did we
Send
need
it
to?
through.
Because it's in committee, you have flexibility to
All
discuss and
right,
change.
so we'll send it through like that.
Thank you.
Don't, you can't back out. Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Huh?
Oh,
I just have a
Lord.
question. The charter states 3 people on the committee, it's okay to have an alternate.
It says 3, so 3 people are at the committee meeting,
Okay.
so the alternate couldn't.
But you need at
show up
least
and-
2.
And vote.
So if you only have 2, you're okay.
Right. But you can't have 4 there.
Wait,
Right, so if 4 is there, then you need to scoop.
Send somebody home.
But we
Just
talk
adding
about
an
it at a
extra
time.
measure.
Okay, I'm fine.
All right, so we're all good with that? The last thing that we have under other, I mentioned, is we'd like to entertain an executive session
yeah,
for the purposes I stated earlier. Barbara, you make the motion.
Yeah.
Second?
Second.
Terry? We do not anticipate any
There
action.
there are a couple of updates that aren't really executive session. You want to do those?
Yeah, we could do those first.
Wait, we're not.
Wait, don't close the
we're not-
door.
We're not yet,
Hold
Gary.
it, hold it up.
matter?
No.
It's just closing the door.
You guys just don't leave yet.
So I'll hold off on the motion to go into executive session, but I do have a sponsor in a second to do that. Go ahead.
Mind if I come into the intersection?
Come on in.
I'm unarmed, I swear. I wanted to share, there's a lot going on at the college, and I wanted to share some of the things that are happening. One, if you've driven by lately, you have seen construction out front, and that is, I'll start this here, that is our new addition to the student union, and it is the college store that is being built. This was being built, as you recall, I think you recall, without county funds. There was some leftover county funds from summer projects that you authorized us to use for some of the projects like HVAC inside the existing student union. So it's a really neat project, and we should be opening that in January of 17. So really an exciting project that we're working on. Another project that's happening in the front of the campus that is underway now, we had a donor, and we are creating a sculpture garden in the front of the campus. So I'll pass this around, but this is, in the center, you'll see the visitor parking lot in the front of the campus, and then there's this section that is a patch of lawn. This is actually going to become the sculpture garden. So we have about half a dozen sculptures that are going in there. There'll be a fountain, nice walkway, plantings. And then on this side of the parking lot is where we'll have the 9/11 memorial. And I'm going to share that with you as...
Can we keep these?
No.
We'll keep one of them to hang up here.
If you want.
Well, they're both different.
Oh, they're different, okay.
Oh, you
Sure.
can send the other one this way and send the other one that way.
So, sure.
No, you've seen them both.
They're both different.
You didn't see them both?
No, one was going this way, the other was going this way.
Dusty, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
The clock tower is working yet?
The clock tower?
Yeah.
We replaced the movement about 6-7 years ago.
Oh, yeah, it's been working. It's been working for a number of years. Yeah.
You're behind time.
Let me share this with you. This is the 9/11 memorial that will be ready for September. And you should have received already an invitation for that weekend. That is the 9th, 10th, 11th. And so let me describe it. I've got the original drawing here. Let me describe what we have. You may recall that this is one of the communications antenna from the top of one of the towers. It's about 32 feet tall and looks a lot like this in that it is twisted. The cables are still there. It's almost a piece of sculpture in and of itself. We are going to put a pad and some brackets around, or a railing around, and then a little walkway so that you can go around it. And then over here on your drawing, you'll see a smaller version of it, and you'll see these sort of stanchions. So there will be 5 stanchions around the sculpture. And the first one will be the Twin Towers, and then it will be the plane going into one of the Twin Towers, the rubble, and then probably 2 shots of the rubble, or 1 shot of the rubble, and then maybe one of this antenna on the top, and then Freedom Tower. So it will tell a story as you go around the destruction and rebirth.
Before, during, and after.
Yeah. This was brought to us, the idea was brought to us to do something from a student, Lou Pavone, who he graduated last year. He is, I think he's 62. He worked as a laborer in New York City, and the last job he had was working in Ground Zero. So he actually gave us a lot of the photos. So it's an emotional thing for him, as you can imagine. So it really, I think it's going to be a very moving piece. And then over to the side here, you'll see these two concrete cylinders or rectangles. They're designed to represent the two towers, and we're calculating it so that on September 11th, at the time that these towers fell, the memorial will actually cast a shadow on these two cylinders. So I think it's going to be a really, really moving piece, and I'm just honored to have it. This design was by Joel Chapin, our art professor. Really, really amazing.
So you're gonna have to really figure that one out. Well, how to get that shadow.
Joel's
There's programs to do that. So
Astrology.
there are programs to
But
do
is
that.
it, but the day changing, the day, maybe this is a stupid question, is the day changing from year to year from a Sunday to, it won't matter that much?
That won't matter.
You're saying,
You'll know that it's a solar
yeah, it's a solar
program,
deal.
so you know.
Astrology wasn't my strong point, so.
But really, really a neat piece. And we're gonna, at 8:30 on September 11th, we'll have a dedication to this. And it's the same weekend that we have the Traveling Vietnam War
Oh, it's
Memorial
gonna be
on
there at the
campus.
same time?
That's there at the same time. So we're gonna do the dedication to the Vietnam Memorial on Friday at 9 o'clock. And then on Sunday at 8:30, we'll do the dedication to the 9/11 Memorial.
Very good.
One more thing I just want to chat about. The Allen House that we are looking to create, and we will be bringing you a resolution to consider. We received from a donor $2 million donation. That donation, we are going to use, because it's private money, we can match that money with state dollars, just like we did for the Union and several other projects on campus that we've done over the last 10 years. So 1 million of that donation will be matched with $1 million from state, and we will redo the locker rooms in the PE building, which needed to be redone 10 or 15 years ago, and it's a project that we submitted last year and didn't get funded. So we'll be able to do that project. Then the Allen House is a vision that we had, and I talked with the Board of Trustees probably 5 years ago. We don't have much meeting space on campus. We don't have, many community colleges have a conference center. We do not have a conference center. So we're looking to create this space that will be welcoming to the community and will allow us to have meetings on campus. We, over the last 10 years, have had more and more requests from state officials to hold sessions on campus, from congressmen to hold meetings on campus, from local folks to have meetings on campus, and we don't have great space. When we do it in the student union. The student union should be for students, not for us to take up that space. It should be for student activities. It should be for things that students do. We shouldn't have to worry that students are being loud in the student union. And we do when we have these events. So, and our boardroom is in the student union, and I want to take that out of the student union and put it in the Allen House as well. There's also another thing that's happening with community colleges, and that is the public investment in community colleges is never going to be what it once was. which means I, and currently Leslie Lanzi, spend a lot more time fundraising than in the past. And that's a fact. And we need to have space to do that. And that space needs to be nice. And so we plan on bringing you a resolution, approving that project. It's about a $2.6 million project. Unbelievable that it's that much, but that's about what it's going to cost. And we're going to bring that to you in a resolution for your consideration, and I hope that you certainly will support it. There are no county dollars in that project to build it. But really an exciting opportunity for us. And it's right in the front of the campus. It's easy to find. It's close to parking. It's the kind of thing you want to have when you're bringing the public onto your campus.
So $1 million for the locker rooms with a match,
Yep.
and $1 million for this project with a match.
And we have other private dollars that Leslie's raised.
Oh, so you will have enough to do it.
We will have enough to do it.
Very good.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a long time coming. It's hard to raise, I mean, you know, because you do it, Leslie knows also. It's hard to raise money without having the atmosphere.
That's exactly right.
And that's important.
Because we have to do more private fundraising, we have to start thinking more like a private institution.
You've been getting some contributors.
We have.
You've been getting some good,
We have. This year, we had a gentleman, O'Connell,
Don and Vi.
who gave us, it's going to be at least $2 million, and it's probably going to be more than that when it's all said and done. And that is designated entirely for scholarships. It's endowed, and the interest has to be used for scholarships. That's what's in the individual's will. Very excited about that. And we named the classroom building O'Connell Hall in their honor. And then this gift, I think, just takes us to another place that we need to go.
Exciting.
Any questions? A lot of neat stuff going on. Then the next two things I'd like to talk to you in executive session if we can.
Okay, if we have nothing else for Dusty out of executive session, there was a motion and a second to go into executive session for the reasons I discussed earlier. All in favor? Ready? All right, motion to come out of executive session. Martin, Barbara, and Mazzotti. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against, abstain, we're out of executive session. If there's nothing else to come before the Finance Committee, I look for...
Motion adjourned.
Huh?
No action was taken in the executive session. Please say that.
No action was taken in executive session,
I am Tom Quackenbush.
and I approve this measure.